So this is about warriorhood. What does it mean when people talk about being a spiritual warrior? Is it just a fantasy trope of Lord of the Rings, Castaneda, samurai stories, etc.? Or does it have some real resonance in what we're talking about here? A warrior is a kind of archetype, and I would say that it does have a meaningful place in what we talk about. And what do we mean by being a warrior? I think it's to do with focusing intent and having a kind of power. But warriorhood can be applied in different areas of life. Some self-help courses perhaps help you to become a warrior in terms of what you want from your life, for example, in business and success. Focusing on positive beliefs and affirmations, how to achieve your goals, etc. So I suppose that's a kind of warriorhood being taught there in that area. And outside of that self-help world, I'd say that most people aren't warriors. Most people don't have that focus of intent that it takes to be a warrior. What do we mean here by warriorhood? That focus is not put on achieving your goals. It is applied to seeing through personality, because as I'm always saying, that is the portal, that is the key, the way in. If the personality was a very faint, etheric construct, then great focus wouldn't be needed to penetrate it and its world. But the personality is not so easily transcended. The personality is a powerful entity, and it can easily take over your existence, dominate it for the rest of your life. As you know, this is what happens with most people. And of course, they don't have any idea that that is what's happening. Some expressions of spirituality out there do not require warriorhood. They simply require you to believe in either a guru or a teaching. For example, many believe that all you have to do is give up searching and seeking to find that you're already awake. No warriorhood is needed for this, no inquiry, just another belief. Warriorhood is needed here because inquiry is not easy. The personality has immense power, and part of its power is to be tricky. You can spend years, even decades of your life thinking you're beyond something, when actually it's just the personality having tricked you back into identification with itself. When painful feelings come up, it's so easy to push them away, pretend they're not there, pretend you're already awake so you're not feeling it, etc. So you can see it's like an epic journey. There is the gold ring, the Xanadu, the promised land, whatever you want to call it. There is the journey towards it. And there are obstacles on the way, dragons, beasts, demons that are trying to stop you get home. It takes a warrior to even go on that journey and not turn back. It's very easy to turn back. So there has to be a certain commitment to even start. And as you go on, something happens, the commitment grows. The thought of turning back starts to become impossible, even though the journey is sometimes just as difficult and painful as it ever was. When the obstacles come, when the demons show their faces, the warrior sees beyond the face and recognizes there is an opportunity. And to run away would be to throw away that opportunity, which may never come again. I would say the guiding principle of warriorhood is that a warrior is always willing to look and always willing to learn. The warrior knows that the secret is hidden in the obstructions, in the demons, in the greatest fear. It's that warriorhood that gives him a power like no other. Sounds quite dramatic, doesn't it? But, it can be dramatic. And, I love these archetypes because they're always based on something real and true. You learn that there is something in it for you, and it's going to give you something that perhaps nothing else will give you in that way. So, but of course, you have to be ready for it. But if you're ready for it, you start seeing these moments as incredible portals and opportunities for you to crack what you obviously want to crack. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. So there's this switch that happens where they're seen as opportunities, and it's that, there's that corny phrase, isn't it, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. But it is true. It's like those are the moments where if you bail out, the moment's gone, You might have to go around another year or a month or 5 years, I don't know, until that comes again. It's one element of the Castaneda world that I kind of quite relate to, and I know what he means by a lot of it, what the intent. And they talk a lot about power. And of course, it's not power to dominate others. It's not power to, feel superior. It's not that kind of power at all, because that's not really power, because that comes from weakness. It's the power to be, to stay in that moment and use it. And once you've done it, you realize there's a power in that. You're going beyond the prison, and suddenly it's the way out of it. I'm laughing because it sounds like a kind of pep talk or a sort of like rallying cry, and it's like, but there's a side of it that is like this. There's different sides to this. And there is a side where this is all true and real and necessary, and that's the truth that some of those Castaneda books points to, I would say. We talked a bit about heart, and you have in the group recently. You know heartfulness has come to mean a kind of weak, almost a weakness, a fluffiness, a kind of not a powerful thing. But you can't have one without the other. In Chinese medicine, the heart is fire and power is wood qi. And there are cycles of generation, and wood burns to make fire. And that's a symbol of how they are interrelated. You can't have one without the other. You can't have real love that we're talking about without the power, and vice versa. It's not real power without the heart. There's a danger that this sounds like doing, I guess, because, and that's very appealing to personality, of course. You've got to try really hard, but it's what's the difference? It's not coming from personality. There's no effort in that sense in it. It's just something that you find, and it operates and it does its job. Whatever is there is seen. And that's the guiding principle. Or everything is seen. That's the guiding principle of the warrior, really.